Namaste, hello everyone, welcome to today's free class. So it's going to be yoga that's going to be based on flexibility, a really deep stretch that's going to stretch into the hamstrings, open up the hips, work the legs a little bit. We're mainly working on the lower body. So what you'll need is a pillow or a firm cushion or anything just to help support yourself. And we're going to use some books as well. So we use blocks a lot in yoga, and if you have your own blocks, perfect, use them. But if you don't have any and you're at home, then just use a couple books. It's just so we can bring the floor up to us. So if you need to run away and grab some books, go do that now. And just a blanket as well. This is just so we get to really get warm and comfy in this cold, yucky weather at the moment. So to begin, just come in a cross-legged position. If you're slouching into your spine a little bit, then this is where the support of the pillow will come in. So just sit on the pillow, get nice and comfy, and sit on the edge a little bit so it can really tilt your pelvis forward. And if you want to wrap yourself up in a blanket, do that now, just so we can really get comfortable and warm and cozy as we come into the practice. So wrap yourself up. And underneath the blanket, my hands are just going to be resting on my knees. Nice and soft, getting cozy, getting warm. So hands on the knees, cross-legged position, nice long spine, crown of the head shining up towards the sky. And just taking some few mindful breaths into the belly. Being aware of the sounds around you. Getting used to the space. Really softening the shoulders down and away from the ears. No fluttering in the eyelids. Relaxing the facial muscles. Really grounding down. Using the breath as a tool to calm the nervous system. And as we sit here for a few breaths mindfully, I want you to be aware of the body. Just scanning from head to toe, seeing if there's any tension, any numbness, any twitching, just becoming aware. And as our breath is slowing down and calming the body, notice where your mind is going. Are there thoughts that keep popping up into your head from the day that you've had? Allow the breath to be a tool to calm the mind as well. As we focus on the quality of the inhales and exhales in and out of the nose, it allows those thoughts to dissipate. So we'll just do a few more mindful breaths here. And we're just going to do a cleansing breath as well. So inhaling through the nose and exhaling fully out of the mouth. So inhale, big breath in. And exhale. We'll do one more of those. Inhale. Exhale fully. looking down at the ground, flattering the eyes open, and then lifting the chin up. If you want to keep the blanket on, you definitely can. We're just going to begin with some hip circles. So with hip circles, we're just opening up the hips. You can leave the pillow underneath you as well if that feels good. Hands on the knees, and just puffing the chest forward and rounding into the spine. Just a simple circular motion. Inhale when puffing the chest forward. Exhale when rounding into the spine. Try to get really fluid with this. Close the eyes, really listening to the body, noticing any clicks in the hips or maybe even in the spine. Every movement is moving with the breath. And moving in the opposite direction. For these last few circles, try go nice and slow and see if there's a difference circling this way compared to circling the other way. One more full circle. And coming up to center, you can open the eyes again. Removing the pillow if that was under you before. And we're going to come into a reclined pigeon. So coming to the long edge of the mat, lowering down onto our back first. Bringing the soles of the feet together. Feet are down on the ground. You can have the feet in close towards the pelvis or further away, whatever feels comfortable. Have a little play, see what your body likes up here or down there. And just allow the knees to flop off to the side. You can have your palms facing up, across, alongside the body. Or if you want to try feeling and moving with the breath, one hand on the belly and one hand on the chest by your heart. So no muscular tension in this pose. Really softening, surrendering to the earth. And if you need any extra support underneath the knees, if this is too much on the hips, then just grab the pillows. If you have one or two, place them underneath the knee, just so they can be supported a little higher. Otherwise, breathing, relaxing, surrendering to gravity, relaxing in the face, relaxing the legs, really breathing deep down into the belly. And just allowing yourself to let go of the day that you've had. Three more breaths in this pose. wherever your hands were. Just place them on the outsides of the legs and close the legs just like a book. And toe heel the feet to the edge of the mat. Have the feet parallel to the longer edges of the mat, and then allow the knees to flop in towards one another. This just helps support our lower back. So just resting here for a few breaths. Reclined butterfly can be quite a strong pose on the hips. And just toe heeling the feet together, up on the forearms, up on the hands. And we're just going to hug the legs in towards us and see if you can balance yourself with the feet off the floor. If you need to let a toe down for a bit of support, then definitely do that. Just hugging the legs, bowing the head down, allowing ourselves to look inward. A few more breaths balancing. If you have a back issue or back injury, you might not want to do the next, it's not a pose, it's just more of a way to get heat and movement in the spine. So we're just going to rock and roll backwards like this and come back up to try catch our balance. But if you have lower back issues, then just try practice your balance, holding yourself in, bowing the head down. We'll just do this a few times, so rolling back, swinging yourself up, see if you can catch your balance. A few more, back up, rolling. Few more. This is a really good way to see if we have any tension in the spine. So notice if there's any bumps or knots you can feel while rolling. One more. Catch your balance. Good. Crossing at the ankles, feet down on the floor, hands down in front, pushing up to step back into a tabletop. So hands and wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Just do a few rounds of cat and cow to warm the spine up even further. Inhale, drop the belly, looking up. Exhale, rounding into the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, dropping the belly, inhale. Pushing out of the shoulders, exhale, rounding. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, rounding into the spine. And come to a neutral spine. We're just going to heat the legs up a little bit. So, kicking the right foot back, making sure that the foot or leg is at hip height. So turn the hip up, so you know where it shouldn't be, and then turn it down. You should feel roughly where hip level is. Heaps of strength in the arms and hands, spreading the fingertips wide, big base of support. And we don't want to dip in the lumbar or the lower back, so this is dipping. So really contract the core, strong in the core, and sending energy out through that heel. So we're going to stay here. Inhale, bending into this leg, bringing the heel towards the buttocks. And then exhale, stretching it out. Inhale, bringing it in, really engaging the glutes. Exhale, kick it away. Inhale, heel to buttocks. Exhale, kick it away. Do it nice and slow so you can feel the muscles moving. Inhale. Exhale, stretch it out. Inhale, one more. Exhale, kick it away. Bring the toes down onto the ground. The toes are tucked under. And just push back into that heel to stretch out the calf a little. Pushing back into that heel. If you need to bend the leg, definitely bend the leg. And we're going to bring this right foot in through the midline in between the hands. So this is where the blocks or the books would come in handy. So here we would just pop them down where our hands would go. Place the hands down up on the fingertips or flat. Rolling the shoulders down into the back, making sure the knee doesn't go past the ankle. Pulling the heart through, squeezing the hips forward, and we're also pressing that back foot into the floor. Breathing deeply into the belly. With every inhale, it inflates the belly. With every exhale, we're softening and relaxing into the pose. One more breath here. And moving the blocks or books off to the side. And we're just going to place the left hand down, tuck the back toes under, lift the knee off the ground. Left hand is down on the ground, and we're twisting, rising the right hand up towards the sky, easy twist. Breathing into the belly. And right hand down. And we're going to stay here. Bring the back foot in a little bit. So bring it forward. And we're going to straighten into that front leg. If you can't get it straight, just get it as straight as you can. A little bend is fine as long as you can feel that stretch in the back of the legs. So we're pushing into that back heel, trying to straighten as much as we can in this front leg. And it's okay if we're rounding in the spine. We don't have to be straight. We can round in the spine. And if you need your blocks or books, definitely put them on the outsides of the feet if you need a bit of height. So resting into this pose. So we're going to keep this posture, and we're just going to inhale, pull the heart forward, lifting the chest, exhale, softening down. Inhale, lift the chest, and exhale, softening into the pose. Good. Bending into that front leg. Hands on the ground, bring this knee down onto the floor. Coming back into our tabletop. Keep the blocks nearby or books. Knees underneath the hips, wrists underneath the shoulders. Inhale, dropping the belly, looking up. Exhale, rounding into the spine. Inhale, dropping the belly. Exhale, reversing that motion. Inhale, come to a neutral spine, kicking the left foot back, turn the hip up, and then turn it back down so we can feel that leg is at hip height. No dipping in the lumbar, engaging the core, sending energy through that heel, looking down at the mat. We're going to inhale here. Exhale, bend into that leg, bring the heel towards the buttocks. Inhale, kick it back. Exhale, knee to buttocks. Actively lifting out of the shoulders. Inhale, stretch the leg away. Exhale, bending into that knee. Inhale, kick it back. And exhale, drawing it in. Inhale, straightening the leg, bringing the toes on the ground, pushing back to stretch out that calf. If you need to bring a bend into the leg, definitely do so. Just bouncing here, releasing that calf. And we're going to bring this leg through in between the hands, framing the foot. Grab your blocks or books if you need some height. The knee doesn't go past the ankle. Rolling the shoulders down, pulling the heart through, squeezing the hips forward and softening. We're pushing the back foot into the ground to activate that leg muscle, opening up that deep hip and breathing into the belly. Having deep breaths into the belly allows us to open spaces up, and then exhaling helps us to soften and move into those spaces. One more breath here. Hands down onto the ground. Tuck the back toes under. Lift the knee off the ground. Right hand is down on the inside of the foot. And we're going to stretch this left arm up towards the sky. Either looking up or looking down at the ground if you're a little wobbly. Noticing the breath, if it's changed from long and slow and calm to short, staggered and stressed. So just noticing the breath, allowing it to be calm. Left hand down. And we're going to bring the back foot in a little bit. And we're going to straighten this front leg as much as we can. And you can use the blocks if you need a little bit of extra height as well. This is our pyramid pose. We're just stretching the back of the legs. We're going to inhale, lift the chest, create space, and exhale, softening, moving into that space. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, softening down. Few more breaths here. Feel that stretch. Feel that release. And bending into that leg, moving the blocks away, knee down, back into a tabletop. So we're going to bring the big toes together, knees apart, hips back on the heels. The wider the knees are, the more stretch and intensity you'll feel on the inner thighs. So just test to see how close or how far away you prefer with your child's pose. So stretching the arms out, bringing the forehead down onto the ground. Softening the body. Allowing the heart to melt towards the earth. Softening the arms. Feeling that opening in the lower back. And feeling the belly pushing against the thighs as we breathe. So staying here, but looking up towards the hands. So this is our perfect measurement for our downward dog, because every body is shaped and lengthwise different. So hips on the heels, stretching the hands out as far as they can go. This is the perfect measurement for your downward dog. Leaving the hands here, coming back up, knees and feet are hip width apart, tucking the toes under, sending the hips up towards the sky, paddling the feet out, bending one leg generously, straightening the other, swaying the hips side to side. And we're also curling the tailbone up towards the sky, circling our buttocks up. Bringing the feet together. And we're going to send this right foot up towards the sky. Inhale here. Exhale, bending into that leg. Squeezing the heel towards the buttocks. Inhale, straightening the leg. Exhale, bending into it. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Bringing that leg and foot back down onto the ground. And we're going to step this right foot in between the hands at the top of the mat. Either come through like this, or if you need to come down onto hands and knees, bring the foot forward like that, and then tuck the back toes under, lift up, choosing your option. The knee doesn't go past the ankle, and we're just going to inhale and rise up into a high lunge. Bring the hands on the hips, making sure that the hips are shining forward. Toes are pointing forward, and so is the knee. Pushing back into that back heel, just so we have even pressure on both feet, strength in both legs. You should feel the stretch in here already, and then bend into it, bending into that front leg. So rising the arms up again. We're going to inhale, straightening the front leg, and then exhale, bending into the front leg. Inhale up, exhale down, just relaxing the shoulders down. Inhale up, exhale, coming down. One more inhale, and exhale, coming down. Holding here for a moment, feeling the strength. And we're going to lean forward, hands on the hips, and we're going to bring the back foot to meet the front foot. So graciously coming to the top of the mat, feet are hip width apart, and we're just folding forward, Uttanasana. You can bring a bend into the legs if you like, either leaving the hands floppy in front or holding opposite elbows. Breathing deeply into the belly. You might want to sway from side to side. Feeling that release in the back of the legs. Noticing how the legs are feeling as well. Now that we've worked one side, is there an imbalance? Hands back down on the ground, and we're going to walk back into a downward dog. Feet are hip width apart, hands are shoulder width apart. Pushing back, paddling into the feet, bending one leg generously, straightening the other. And coming back down onto the knees. We're going to bring the right foot in between the hands. I'm just going to shuffle back so you can see me. And we're going to push back, sending the hips backwards and straightening this front leg. Pulling the toes towards us. You can grab the blocks or books here if you need a bit of height. So pulling these toes towards us, and this leg, the straight leg, we're sending that hip back as well. So pulling this hip back, pulling the toes towards us. No need to have a straight spine, we can round into it a little bit. We're just focusing on the legs today. If this is too much, you can come down and sitting down onto the floor. And this is also a good stretch for the back of the legs. So either this option or staying up here, pulling the toes towards. And we're just going to move into a deeper stretch. You can stay here if you like. We'll just be here for a few more breaths. But if you want to amplify, add on. You can straighten this leg out and stretching into the whole back of the leg. You can grab the books or blocks if you need a bit of height. Just whatever feels best. Choosing your option. We're going to be here for maybe 5 more breaths. So if you're up on your knee and you need a rest, you can sit down like that option I showed you before, or stretching into the splits. But when we're in the splits, we're going to roll the shoulders back and down into the back. Moving from side to side. Just if you feel like flowing a little. And we're going to be coming out. So if you were sitting down, just come back down into a tabletop, and same if you were on the knee. But if you're down here like me, pushing into the hands, bending into the back leg, pulling this leg back, bringing the leg back. Moving blocks off to the side. Big toes together, knees apart, hips on the heels, stretching the arms out, resting forehead down onto the ground. Really breathing deeply into the belly here. We're just going to be here to catch our breath. Stretching the arms forward, looking up, lifting back up, feet are hip width. Hands are shoulder width, pushing up into a downward dog. Paddling the feet out, really noticing the difference between the stretched leg and the not stretched leg. Bringing the feet together, rising the left leg up towards the sky. Inhale here. Exhale, bending into that leg, squeezing heel towards buttock. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale, stretch it up. And exhale, squeezing the buttocks. And bringing this foot back down onto the ground. Coming to bring our left foot in between the hands, however you need to get there. You can come onto the knees. Bringing left foot forward in between the hands. Tucking the back toes under, lifting the knee up. Knee doesn't go past the ankle. Inhale, rising up. Pushing back into that back heel, strengthen both feet, both legs, and then bending into it. Rising the arms up. We're going to inhale, straightening that front leg. Exhale, bending down. Inhale up. Exhale, bending into it. Relaxing shoulders down. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bending down. We'll be here for a few breaths. Leaning forward, hands on the hips, bringing the back foot to meet the front foot. Feet are hip width apart, folding forward, Uttanasana. See if you can straighten the legs a bit more this time. If they were quite bent, see if you can straighten them just a little bit more. Holding opposite elbows or allowing arms to dangle. Whatever feels best. Rocking from side to side. Swaying the hips. Noticing the breath. What is it telling you? What is the quality of the breath? Bringing hands down onto the ground, shoulder width apart. Moving back into a downward dog. Paddling the feet out. Coming back down onto the knees. And we're going to bring the left foot in between the hands. First option, straightening that front leg, walking the hands back. You can use the blocks or the books to have a little bit of height. Pulling those toes towards us, sending that hip back, noticing how this side feels to begin with. You can be quite strong, so just try calming the breath, relaxing the body. If you were in this option before, you can come down into this option, pulling the toes towards you still, unless you want to stay up on the knee, or if you want to add on like you did on the other side, you can stretch this leg out. You can grab the blocks or books. If you're in this option, rolling the shoulders down, pulling the chest forward. You can bounce from side to side to see where the stretch goes from moving from one side to the other. Calming the breath here, choosing your options, and if you need to come out earlier, then that's totally fine. Heaps of strength in the legs, and just noticing what this side feels like compared to the other leg. Is it a big difference or just a wee difference? Just becoming aware of the body, becoming aware of your own body. Few more breaths. And to come out, we all meet back in tabletop. Sending the hips back if you're in my option. Pulling this foot back. Coming back onto tabletop. Big toes together, knees apart as wide as you would like. Stretching the hands out. Balasana, child's pose, forehead down onto the ground. Catching the breath here, feeling the belly pressing against the thighs. Up on the fingertips. Actually, we're going to come back up into a tabletop. Just move the ankles off to the side. Coming back to lie down. Down, straight onto the ground. And we're just going to stretch the legs up to the sky. Pulling the toes towards us. It's okay if you have a little bend in the legs. So we're pulling the toes towards us and then point them away. Pull them back and point. Flex and point. Now rolling into the ankles. Noticing any clicks. And in the opposite direction, I'm sure your feet are getting a little sore, or the legs. And bending down, hugging the knees. If you can't grab a hold of the shins, hold on to the backs of the thighs. Rocking from side to side. Letting go of the legs. Stretching the legs out, allowing the feet to flop off towards the sides. Palms facing up. We're going to move into our Shavasana, which is our resting pose, the final pose. And if you wanted to get really comfy, you can place a pillow on the top of the mat, just like you would in bed. Or if you wanted to support the lower back, just have the pillow underneath the knees. It just allows ourselves for our hips to be, or our sacrum to be flat on the floor. And if you had your blanket, pull the blanket over you Resting back down, covering yourself in your blanket, palms facing up to take in energy and to surrender. We'll just be in Shavasana for a few minutes, so closing the eyes, relaxing the facial muscles, no fluttering in the eyes, softening the jaw, relaxing the shoulders, feeling the arms get heavy, feeling the chest and belly rise and fall with the breath. And feeling a little bit of warmth in the hips from working them so much today. You can feel a little bit of energy in the legs. Allow them to soften. And we'll just relax here for a few moments. Start bringing awareness back into the body, wiggling the fingers and the toes, stretching arms above the head, stretching fingertips away from the toes, rolling onto one side, resting in fetal position just for a moment. Pushing up to come and take a seat. Keeping the eyes closed. You can either have your blanket wrapped around you or off to the side. Cross-legged position, hands on the knees, spine nice and long, crown of the head shining up towards the sky. Just taking a moment here to be grateful for yourself and for your practice, for creating space and relaxing into that space. Bringing the hands together in front of the heart. And when we say Namaste, it means I acknowledge the beautiful divine within you, as you acknowledge the beautiful divine within me. Inhale here, and Namaste. Thank you for joining me today with this free class, and I hope it helped you stretch out tight muscles in the legs, opening up the hips, and a bit of strength work as well. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Namaste.